Ok. Então vamos aguardar que entre o professor António Gomes. Então, a Ianina Marushchak, eu não sei bem se disse bem, como é que se diz o teu nome?
Não faz mal, eu sei que é complicado. A Marushchak.
Ok, Ianina Marushchak.
Perfeitamente.
Está como orientadora a professora Dani Afonso. Ela confirmou presença?
Não.
Não,
Não sei.
ok, então vamos ver
Ela
se ela
disse
chega.
que vai tentar, mas...
Não tenho a certeza, não tenho a certeza.
Porque tem aulas e...
Muito bem. Então, a Ianina está no grupo de interação e irá fazer um estágio curricular na empresa YDigital Media e vai começar a apresentação agora. Vamos começar à hora, está bem? Depois, se a professora entrar, eu admito... Olha, espera que está alguém aqui a entrar. Não é a Karina. Mas olha, começa, Ianina. Sim?
Não, ainda não deixou...
Ok, vou fazer aqui. Ok. Já está? Consegues entrar?
Sim. Pronto. Então, bom dia. Estágio curricular na YDigital Media. Vai ser o subtítulo. O título ainda não está definido porque nós, como empresa e com a minha orientadora, não sabemos todos os detalhes do trabalho que vou fazer e ainda ficou por definir. As disciplinas que pertencem Design e Interação, User Experience, User Interface e Web Design, no grupo de interação. A minha orientadora será Dani Afonso. Este trabalho apresenta o estágio curricular que vou fazer na Agência Mobile YDigital Media em Lisboa e como objetivo de estágio pretendo obter mais conhecimentos na área do web design, melhorar as minhas habilidades práticas, ganhar experiência profissional e no final obter o grau de mestre em design gráfico. Hoje em dia as tecnologias estão cada vez a avançar mais e isso torna-se importante para empresas e negócios, porque as novas tecnologias oferecem diferentes soluções digitais para facilitar o trabalho, melhorar as funcionalidades. Por isso, a minha motivação foi no interesse do trabalho que a agência faz, no desenvolvimento dos projetos gerais para clientes e na experimentação de trabalho em equipa. Como resultado, pretendo também aprender a resolver problemas usando ferramentas digitais, desenvolver websites e aplicações mobile para o marketing digital. Palavras-chave são estas: interação, interface, digital, user experience e web design. A YDigital Media, fundada em novembro de 2010, é uma agência de marketing e publicidade global que oferece soluções digitais completas, criando e gerindo algumas das campanhas mobile mais inovadoras e bem-sucedidas em todo o mundo. A agência mobile de algumas das maiores empresas do mundo em diversas áreas, como telecomunicações, banca, finanças, entre outros. Aqui estão todas as cidades onde a YDigital Media tem seus escritórios. Em Lisboa foi fundada, depois tem São Paulo, Bogotá, Madrid, Cidade do Cabo, Paris, Cidade do México e Bruxelas. O ecossistema do YDigital Media do serviço digital oferece uma abordagem completa de 360 graus que pode ser embalada ou reservada separadamente. São 5 produtos que, juntos ou separadamente, são essenciais para a sua estratégia digital. A MyBit, própria plataforma de mídia que converte 85% do estoque global. A Target, essa tecnologia permite a entrega de campanhas digitais interativas nas maiores plataformas de mídia digital. Senseit, a plataforma de sincronização multicanal para suas campanhas offline e online. Movit, mercado bilateral que permite a comunicação direta entre anunciantes e produtos de conteúdo. E Adamai, primeira plataforma de validação do mundo. A Digital Media é posicionada no mercado. Para acomodar esse movimento, há uma série de atividades sendo desenvolvidas. Portanto, minha tipologia de trabalho na a Digital Media será desenvolvimento de websites com mais conteúdo, redes sociais, publicações, vídeos, estudos de caso, etc., newsletter, interno e externo, press release, testemunhos, comunicação interna, stands, flyers, banners de publicidade online e offline, campanhas atuais com clientes, são definição de key visuals, mockups de campanhas, landing pages. O meu método de estudo no estágio vai ter duas partes. Primeira parte, investigação teórica com estado de arte, que vai incluir o enquadramento da empresa. Também pretendo fazer uma investigação sobre web design, design de interação, user experience e user interface. A segunda parte inclui elaboração de projeto prático. Por sua vez, está dividida em pesquisa, identificação do público-alvo, as suas necessidades e as suas ações, definição do conceito do website e objetivos da agência. Depois, em design, definição da navegação, criação dos protótipos, desenvolvimento do design e conteúdo para o website. E no final, testes de usabilidade, testar o produto e encontrar solução como utilizadores e alterar o design se for necessário. Mas a metodologia ainda não está definitiva também, porque a empresa pode ter a sua metodologia e isso ainda temos que tenho que confirmar. E como resultado do estudo no estágio, vai ser desenvolvido um novo website para a agência YDigital Media, focado em fornecer mais conteúdo, por exemplo, vídeos sobre produtos, entrevistas, testemunhos, estudos de caso, infográficos, estudo de caso e artigos. E pronto. Depois, para a apresentação, também vai incluir um relatório de estágio curricular e com projeto prático. E pronto. Obrigada.
Muito bem, Ianina, muito bem. Queria... podes retirar a partilha para nós nos conseguirmos ver todos?
Para tirar, compartilha.
O compartilhamento, exatamente.
Sim.
Okay. Bom dia a todos, a quem ainda não disse. Bom dia, professora Luísa Pires Barreto. Bom dia, professor António Gomes. Bom dia. Nós começamos com a apresentação da Ianina. Eu hoje vou tentar fazer isto um bocadinho mais English friendly, que eu esqueci completamente na aula passada, na sessão passada, de ir traduzindo. E para quem chegou entretanto, queria só fazer referência ao que acabámos de ver. Vimos a apresentação da Ianina, que vai fazer um estágio curricular numa empresa, um estágio académico, que vai ser na empresa YDigital e terá como orientadora a professora Dona Afonso, sendo que ela não conseguiu estar presente na apresentação. A Ianina pertence ao grupo de Interacção e tem tido algumas dificuldades em ter apoio da parte da empresa, portanto toda esta definição foi um bocadinho aquilo que ela gostaria que viesse a acontecer, sem ter tido propriamente ainda um contacto muito direto com a empresa. Now in English we've just we saw the presentation of the student Ianina Marushchak, that is going to make an internship in YDigital Media and is from the group Interaction. Her mentor is going to be Professor Dona Afonso. And now I would like to give the word to Professor António Gomes and to Professor Luísa Barreto, please.
Luísa, se calhar é melhor seres tu primeiro, não?
Ok.
Ok.
Deixa-me aqui acordar um pouco. Mas é um bocado como tu disseste, Paula, porque aquilo que estamos aqui assim a falar é um bocado as intenções e porque é que aquela empresa tem e pode explorar para que a Ianina possa então concluir a sua dissertação. Parece-me ok, ela quer ir, é uma área que não é a minha, por isso a professora Dona está aqui assim para nos ajudar nesta parte do user, até me esqueço do nome.
Experience.
Exato. Para orientar a Ianina para quando ela for fazer o seu projeto, que ainda não sabemos bem ao certo o que é que vai sair e o que é que vai ser, ela consiga aplicar os princípios básicos e os corretos para fazer uma investigação e um projeto onde ela irá aplicar tudo aquilo que ela sabe na teoria para ser aplicado na prática. Não vejo aqui grande problema de maior. Vamos ver se tudo isto depois funciona e se regulariza como deve ser, tá bom? Aqui não tenho muito mais a acrescentar.
Professora.
Okay.
Sim, Ianina.
Sim, para aproveitar, queria perguntar, porque quando a última vez tinha reunião com a empresa, eles perguntaram quando, mesmo a data, o início do estágio. Eu sei que é em fevereiro.
O estágio pode ser, olha, é assim, o início do estágio pode ser em janeiro, fevereiro. Terás é que ir ter com a Joana Machado, ela é que faz os protocolos todos entre a escola e a empresa para o estágio.
Posso fazer isso já na próxima semana?
Podes?
Ok, tá bom. Tá, obrigada.
Nada.
Okay. Professor António Gomes.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Vou ser breve também. Acho que isto é um caminho mais interessante para o perfil de aluno que a Ianina já mostrou através dos seus trabalhos. Obviamente que houve inicialmente um ligeiro desvio em que a Ianina ia estudar um tema um bocado, não digo difícil, mas um tema complexo e que tal, de alguma forma, um tema que é um bocado problemático, não é um tema fechado, um tema aberto, um tema que não tem termo, mas não é um tema que seja corrente. Portanto, aquilo também teria algum... de qualquer forma, passou por esse período e até aprendeu algumas coisas e, portanto, acho que não foi um desvio assim desaproveitado na sua íntegra. De qualquer forma, pronto, desejo a melhor sorte aqui com este estágio profissional. Os estágios normalmente implicam outro tipo de atitude, também perante o trabalho e perante portanto, convém estar um bocadinho, manter um certo ritmo e manter ali e de alguma forma qualquer coisa que depois necessites, avisa. Obrigado.
Obrigada.
Ianina, só em relação à apresentação, é um bocadinho aquilo que nós estamos aqui a tentar trabalhar também. Tu estiveste a ler bastante a apresentação, eu sei que ainda ontem, quando estivemos na escola, tu estavas a preparar porque estavas cheias de dúvidas e com muitas coisas indefinidas. A tua língua materna não é o português, não. Pronto, e o que é importante, ainda ontem estava a ter esta conversa com um professor, que o design não deverá ter erros, no sentido em que quando vês um produto, o produto não deve ter problemas, não é? O produto, quando vai para o mercado, não deve apanhar um choque elétrico quando acende um candeeiro, não devo pegar numa moto e ela pega fogo, e não devo ler um texto que tem erros, não é? E o que acontece é que tu provavelmente não consegues detectá-los sequer. Não é a mesma coisa que um aluno português que está a escrever português e que simplesmente não teve o cuidado de ver que havia erros de português. Mas é importante, tinhas umas palavras que estão escritas em português do Brasil, outras que estão efetivamente com erro, e eu sei que teve a ver com o facto de ainda ontem estavas a preparar e provavelmente tiveste até há pouco tempo a preparar, mas é muito, muito importante teres em consideração, quando estiveres a fazer a tua apresentação, tem que ser irrepreensível, porque nós estamos a analisar o conteúdo e de repente deparamos-nos com erros ortográficos e isso distrai-nos daquilo que é essencial. Mas é muito importante ter esta ideia de que o design gráfico, o design pode ter muitíssimas coisas que fogem à norma, mas o erro ortográfico é uma coisa que ou é uma coisa que existe para comunicar, nós estamos a fazer um erro com critério de que é um erro, ou se não é, nós de repente ficamos ali presos àquilo e depois aparece outro e distrai-nos muito do conteúdo. Por isso, se tu é muito importante teres alguém que te reveja o texto e obviamente espero que depois venhas a ter mais tempo para preparar a tua apresentação e não estares a ler a apresentação. Mas de qualquer maneira, olha, muito bem, porque conseguiste fazer um documento basicamente do zero e nós ficarmos com uma ideia daquilo que vai acontecer, ou pelo menos daquilo que tu gostarias que viesse a acontecer, está bem? Desejo-te muita sorte e alento agora com quem te vai orientar lá do lado de lá.
Obrigada.
Sim. Muito bem, então nós temos agora a próxima pessoa. Deixa-me cá ver quem é. Então agora temos a Kaya. Kaya, hello, are you there?
Hey.
Hi. Okay, so it's not, we still have some minutes, but I'm going to present your presentation as the title People of Peniche, Translating People's Narratives into a Contemporary Digital Storytelling Experience. I don't know if it is still this title and subtitle, but it was until yesterday. So you are in the group Interaction and your mentor is Professor António Gomes.
That's right.
Okay, so we are going to wait until 11 so we can all have a coffee in order to be on schedule. Well, I'm going to ask you, do you prefer to have more time for your presentation?
I will finish in 10 minutes. So.
Okay, so we'll start at 11, okay? Ok.
Só uma questão aqui, assim, peço desculpa, isto tem a ver com os alunos da turma. Estava aqui a solicitar à direção para que a aula de segunda-feira fosse toda online. I was asking to the board of the school if our next class on Monday could be at Zoom instead to be at school. Probably it's best, it's less cold, and it's your last class in this semester, in this year, so I presume you prefer to be at home than to come to the school, okay? I don't know the answer. I hope until the end of the day, I will have an answer to give you. I will text you, I will say here at the meetings, or I will text you by Teams to say if we're going to have class online or at school, okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So by the way, I was, we had that acceptance to our invitation of Anton Slat, I don't know the name, is, where is it? Well, for Marco would like to bring here like the top surfer in the world, and he also well, let me see, where is it? Anton Svetlov is the CEO founder of the Jet Admin and Jigs Art. And he said that he will be present, but I don't know if he remembers that in his country, we don't have the same hour. So let's see if he's going to be here at 12 or not. Well, we'll see, we'll have to wait.
Okay.
So, but Kaya, do you want to start?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so okay, so go ahead.
Okay. I see Antonio is also here.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. Oh no.
Command L.
Yeah. I just press Alt L and something happened. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's start. So like Professor Paula already said, my theme for the master thesis is People of Peniche. And my mentor is António Silveira Gomes. So what I will do, I will collect stories of the local people from Peniche, and I will transform those stories into a web page, which will have non-linear narratives and different media. So I will collect the stories from Peniche, mostly from the 20th century. And for those who don't know, but probably all do, Peniche is a coastal town in Portugal, where fishing industry and surf tourism are the key economic drivers. So why I decided to choose this theme? I've always been fascinated about the stories of the people, and since I love traveling and capturing moments in between, and as a graphic and web designer, I want to create something digital, something web-based, and improve my skills on which I'm not as confident with as I wish to be. So all this led to my master thesis project theme, which is a People of Peniche. So I want to combine multi-skills that I already have or I wish I would have. So yeah, I want to present to the tourists who will be the end users of my webpage that Peniche is so much more than just good waves. And I want to let the locals to tell their stories to the world, and that the users would finally understand the communities living there and the history of the town. And I want to take this project, like master thesis, as a learning process, an experiment, and like a pilot project in many more to come. So my goals are to better understand the Peniche cultural identity, and at the same time give something back to the community and to spread awareness. Of course, the big goal is also to gain experience in the areas that are written here. And at the end, I really want to be proud of myself and my work and the time spent on this master thesis project. So how I will do it? In the theoretical part, first I will do a research. Here comes the first problem, because a lot of literature is in Portuguese. So if it's digital, I can translate it. If it's not, I can try with my basic Portuguese skills, but I can't really do a lot about it, you know. So I will search through the internet, and I also got in a contact with the local historians, which will help me to get a true insight of the Peniche communities and culture there. So I will then read also a lot about storytelling, web design, user experience, and search for the reference projects that are out there, and some of them I'll show you in a few slides. So yeah, in the practical part, I will first network with the local people so that I get the storytellers for my interviews that I will then conduct with them. And after that, I will transcript the interviews and edit the photo and video material. And then comes the fun part, so design. First, design of the visual identity of the project, and then design of the web page. So firstly, website structure, wireframing, UX, UI, and then animation and design. At the end, I will check the usability and visual image with the online survey. So here are some of the reference projects. These are screenshots of the videos. Those projects were done by some associations or museums of Peniche, and are basically like storytelling projects of the people. And here are also, probably you all know, Humans of New York. So some web pages that have similar contents that I also am searching for. And here are some people that inspire me, like those are the documentary photographers. And here are some my pictures that I took mostly during traveling. So I love capturing people when they don't know that I'm taking photos of them. And here are some websites where I would find inspiration for the animation and the design for the website. So the methods that I will use is first the research of the topic, and then I will conduct the interviews with the local people and analyze reference projects. And of course, I will also, as a method, I will use the ethnographic research. And at the end, like I said before, the online survey. This is my timeline. It looks quite optimistic because I want to deliver master thesis until Easter, so the 4th of April, and then have a dissertation, I don't know, maybe in June, we'll see. But yeah, I want to stick to that plan. But if I somehow wouldn't because of COVID or something, because my project is connected with COVID quite a lot, I still have like 3 more months to finish it. But yeah, let's hope that plan A, so until Easter, will work out. So the results of my master thesis project at the end will be, I want to present Peniche to the world from another perspective, and the history of texts that I will get during research and the stories of the local people will be a base for the website content. And I want to earn as much knowledge as possible during this master thesis. And yeah, I want this project to continue to live even after it on the social media or local newspapers, some events where people would share their stories and, you know, brochures and stuff like that. And I also want to continue with similar projects when I will be back in my home country, so Slovenia. So here are some references, some biographies, some are in English, some are in Portuguese that I will use, and also some web-based media. But yeah, there will be many more. These are just like the basic ones. And yeah, that's it mostly. Quick review. Thank you for your time. And now I'm available and I'm looking forward to your feedback. So yeah, that's it. Obrigada. You're muted, sorry. Paula, you're muted.
Paula.
Okay. Thank you, Kaya. I would like to ask to Professor António and to Professor Luísa, what is the order that I should invite people to talk? Is first the coordinator or the mentor?
Here I'm not as a coordinator of the course, I'm just one professor. Not please. That is the bureaucratic stuff. I don't know if Antonio wants to speak first. It will be.
It's usually the mentor is the last one to speak usually, but okay. If you, I don't mind doing it the wrong way around. It's up to you, Luísa. But I would like to hear Luísa first.
Okay. So what I was looking here at the work of Kaya in all the talks we had on this time. One thing I really want to understand that it was if you are trying to get a methodology to rewrite stories of a little village like Peniche or other village, you want to do it at your own town, or each place have their own approach, a different approach, because each place have a different living. But also I think it was because it's your point of view, it's your way of dealing with the local people with a place. It's not your hometown. It's something you want to know information quickly as you can. If you are trying to get a way to start a conversation or a methodology to get your information from the people. If you have a guide to, when you start to talk with someone, you have a guide of several questions you want to make them, or to make it, or you just go with the flow, the conversation goes, and whatever they have to tell you, they tell you. This is my major question.
Okay. So, okay, to explain it, I understand some Portuguese, but the problem is that a lot of old people speak, you know, some weird accent that I don't understand. So I will have a translator with me. She's married to a Portuguese man and been living here in Peniche for the, I don't know, past, let's say 20 years. But she's American, so she has both sides of the language like covered. So I will have her with me. I will share questions that I will prepare in advance with her, so she can guide me through the interview. But I think I will understand a lot, but I would not be able to speak, you know, because at speaking I'm not so good. So I will have her for that part. So yeah, I have a translator. So it won't be. So it won't be a really, you know, me speaking with a local, but more like I will have someone in between, just because of the language barrier.
Yeah, but the thing is if you when you prepare your questions, it's going to be specific for that person you're going to talk with, or you have a few questions for a start. Mm-hmm. It will be more or less equal for everyone you're going to interview.
Yeah, I have some basic questions that I will ask all of them, but then, you know, it also depends on their answers. If all of them will answer something that I want to get, you know, like the cool answers, then I can, you know, join these answers and just, you know, have a few seconds video just with few words of all of them. But I will prepare a specific question for the person, because I will know in advance with whom I will talk, a little background of them, and I will ask also specific questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
António, it's your time now.
Thank you, Luísa. Thank you, Kaya and Paula. I would like Kaya to could you please put your presentation, could you rewind it to the first
slide? The
first, no, sorry. You just passed it. This one, that's it. Okay, there. Okay.
Okay.
The thing here is Kaya's project is very it's a very interesting approach, and I think I accepted this mentorship with regards to the fact that the project is not it's kind of an experimental approach that Kaya is taking, but it's a bit of an informal experimental approach that is my main concern. So the project in its whole, you know, as a presentation and so far as a project of a project, is very promising. And regarding that, I know Kaya well, so far as I know Kaya's work, and I'm very confident in what she will be able to do with this. So I'm just going to speak of my only fear regarding this project. So as I was saying, the experience of doing something like this in this more or less informal experimental way that Kaya is doing is perfectly possible when the main or the center or the focus of your work is basically operative through acquisition of skills and showing how these skills work in storytelling. So storytelling is fundamentally a graphic design tool. So if there's one thing that graphic designers know how to do well, and I'm not talking about skills, technical skills, it's to tell a story. So we are very strong visual storytellers, obviously, but we're also very interesting auxiliary storytellers. So we can tell a story as an auxiliary person that accompanies a project, or that can tell somebody a story, or that can somehow construct this story for a client, or for be him a fisherman or a big corporation that does overfishing. So the context and the moral context are not important here. The problem, the only thing that I find is my slight fear here. It's not a fear of what can go wrong. It's just what has to be well grounded as a research project. And this is important because there is a methodology for this, and graphic designers, and in looking at design is a fairly open and improvisational discipline, and it's also a very interesting tool, let's say, to kind of construct a representation of something. So, and Kaya is kind of trying to do this through her, I would say, more embedded experience in the project. So I'm saying embedded because the real word should actually be biographic. It will be probably very difficult for Kaya not to include her own biography in this project, because this project is part of her. Even if it's going to be ready by Easter, which is very bold, which would be very good, by the way. I would be very happy if you could do that. But it's obviously it's going to be very, very important, this relationship that you have to establish here. So you're working informally with people that you know, that you call by local historians. So local historians can be amateur historians.
They have like PhD in archaeology and history, so.
I'm not saying the amateur as in people that are not professional. I'm saying amateur. The word amateur comes from people that like the place that they live, so they are historians about that. I could have 6 PhDs and be a historian about the place that I love, but I could be very easily put questioned because I like the place where I live. Do you understand? And that can influence the way that I reflect about the place where I live.
Yeah.
I'm not disregarding. They can have 6. I don't care. I also have a PhD. Luísa has a PhD. So there is no the question here, and the issue here is not that. The issue here is, why are their names on this presentation, for instance, since they have an importance in your work, or are they in this, are they in this group of people that you are interviewing? So if they are experts, if they have PhDs, they have obviously academic knowledge that can be pertinent in your project, and they can be like an invited advisor for you. So I think you should integrate them in the project. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So these phantom historians that you're working with right now, they should quickly become presential historians, because obviously they will be informing your work, and they will be helping you out. And there are people that, but there will always be people that have an amateuristic approach to the place where they live and the way they relate to the people. And that can be complex, you know, and that will translate it, even if you don't really, what you really want to do is something that looks good and that the design is really well informed by the context, that can also be a problem. So that's my only preoccupation with this project. Do you understand? So
Yes.
why aren't the people that you are interviewing from Peniche, why don't they have PhDs? So why are you interviewing only people that are in a sort of a working class, a general working class, apart from one or two, I think. So you have a patrimonium, people that work in the town hall. Why aren't you interviewing? Why aren't those historians also part of the people that you are interviewing, since they're also part of Peniche? It's just a question. Maybe you can answer it.
Yeah,
let me just finish quickly.
Yeah.
Finally, just as a final remark, you are defining benchmarks for your project, and you are defining a kind of state of the art. I think it's a good starting point to use references that are these websites that kind of aspire to the kind of design that you would like to do. However, I think you have to dig a little bit deeper into these benchmarks, into these case studies, and into these references. So say why, you know, kind of explain or just focus on only one. Do you understand? So these benchmark approaches, I think, will be important later on, further on in the study. Can I see your agenda, please? Your sorry, your chart.
My timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't see anything. Right. I have to make it larger.
Yeah.
I can't read it. Okay. So maybe, let me see. I'm sorry, I'm taking up too much time. Paula, am I taking up too much time? Sorry. Paula?
You're muted.
No. I was saying that you have a lot of time because the next presentation, it will be only at 11:30. You have
Okay,
to.
so if you don't mind, let me just abuse
No, it's
a little
not.
bit more, and then we can just start.
Yes.
So I think this chart is very ambitious, and at the same time it's very serious. So I think it's a well-structured chart, and I think some of these things are already kind of starting to be put in question here. But I still think that so far it is possible to have this, at least this first part, ready by March. But I would think eventually, if you're going to insert these people, or if you're going to think of inserting a study to, you know, more referential websites or sites that use this kind of language, eventually, I'm sure there are many websites that have this kind of mixed objective that combine ethnographic, this kind of informal, experimental ethnographic approach, and biographic also. Maybe they're usually made by more notable people, which I don't think is a problem, because Kaya is certainly a notable person. So I think it will be an interesting approach, that these benchmark or these ideas or these reference sites should be more related to this kind of narrative that you're working on. And eventually we can work on that further on. And final comment, final remark. I know that this is just a presentation, and it's a nice presentation. It's very clear and very straightforward. And the usage of the graphical aspect of the presentation, I found it quite, I found it funny, because it kind of clashed with, especially with the slide that you were looking at. If you go further back, sorry. Your photographs, your travel photographs, for instance, these kind of photographs, they kind of clash with this kind of hip, you know, rounded corners, very template-driven design, which you see a lot in things like, you know, mostly in web services and things that are more directed to designers. So the contrast is really nice, and it can be more well explored. And there's some nice projects that do this, that combine, that kind of combine this more local or ethnographic approach with this kind of youthful design, you know, and but it can be dangerous at the same time. So sometimes it can look like a retail site, you know. I know that you're not going to, this is not, you're just exploring, you know, languages, and it's a good exploration here. And it worked really nice, especially with this slide, which I mistakenly thought it was Kaya kind of projecting herself in the future. And to a certain extent, there is a slight clash here. It kind of looks retail, that you kind of turning the Peniche experience into a retail experience, which can be funny or can be ironic, but it can be it has to be well worked as an approach. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So to comment the fact with the historians that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
I don't use them as storytellers. I want to focus on the communities that live there. And for example, this historian guy, Luis, from Patrimonium Peniche, actually his family is fisherman family. So
okay.
3 generations were fishermen. His, I think, aunt or cousin works in a fish market here in Peniche. So they're all fishermen. And then there is a contrast that he's the first one actually getting to the university, the first one in the family, and getting the PhD actually. So he's coming from fisherman family, and like you said, he's maybe too attached to this area, you know, to all the struggles, all the like bad sides of being a fisherman. But at the same time, he has those insights that you can get on internet, because for example, when I was talking with him and his wife, we were talking, I don't know, 2 hours, and I got more information and more useful information than I got while reading books or browsing on the internet before like few days, you know. So it is it's important for me to get those true insights of the city, you know, because the reality is something different that you read in the books. So I think this is very, very like precious contact that I have with a historian. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think this local historian has to belong to your study. You don't need to interview him, but he's going to inform the project. So he's kind of an advisor. I think there's an academic name for it, which I can't remember right now, but it's called a partner or something like that. It's I don't remember the name now, but in academic jargon, we have this kind of you can have this kind of approach, because your like I said, your approach is kind of biographical, because it's about you and Peniche, and obviously you're not the focus, which is good. But you are a person that is embedded in this story. So somehow this is going to influence the way that you understand Peniche. The other thing is conversational approach to learning and to understanding is one thing, but factual is fundamental. So you don't, if you approach these conversations as an interview that you can place outside of the focus of your website, but as an interview that informs your document or your report, that would be good. And it would be interesting to include this researcher in your project. So somehow, I don't know. And if it could be, and when you do your final presentation and your before a jury, it can be important. So I think his name should be present here somewhere in this project.
Yeah, I was also
even in the presence, in the, you know, he shouldn't be a phantom here. Okay, so there's ways to solve this, and without being too you know, too instrumental and too, you know, academic kind of, but and it can be fun also at the same time, and it won't spoil your approach. Apart from that, I'm really happy and looking forward to those interviews.
Yeah, me too.
Another thing that can be useful in your approach here is to kind of, it would be nice to hear you tell a story about Peniche, you know, from your voice. I think that's important, you know. For instance, when you contacted me for this, I told you about the story that people, there's an expression in Portugal which is amigos de Peniche, the friends from Peniche. So you probably already know the story behind that. So and it's a funny story because it's not, people from Peniche aren't very fond of that expression because it's used outside of Peniche. So everybody, and it's kind of saying that people from Peniche are treacherous, which is wrong. And it's an incredible example of fake news that's very old. It comes from the invasions of the French, of Napoleonic invasions. And it's a kind of fake news that just stuck, you know, and it still exists. So people still say, "Ah, tu és amigo de Peniche," so trying to say that you are a treacherous person, you know, when in truth the expression came as a benign thing. So it was not a treacherous expression, and the history has to be said right. And that's like one of the first things that you see when you log into the Câmara Municipal. And it's a really nice story. I don't know. I'm just telling you this as an example. It would be nice to hear from you also a story within this whole. And it's not a problem of you know, somehow embedding yourself a little bit more in the project.
Yeah, but still, I want this project, you know, to first to how is it called? To give honor to people of Peniche, not like that I am the most important part. No,
I'm not saying that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But you are important, especially if you want to have this ready by March. That makes you a very important person. Okay, so obviously, I'm not saying that you put the focus on you, but it would be nice in the document somehow for you to assume this kind of informal experimental ethnography. So there's some bibliography that I can share with you about this that can be useful, a couple of texts.
Can I just say something?
Go for it,
because, about the thing that António will say about your importance in this work. It will always be, you are always important because the point of view you are going to use or you're going to deal with these people are somebody from, it is not from a Portuguese point of view, and it will be always important because you're going to put your specific point of view from this all those stories. And of course, I think António have all it is correct when he say you have to, at the end, you have to tell your story.
Okay.
Because it's what your story, it's the reason for why this project started, why you have this idea. So I think it's fundamental to explain not your experience in Peniche as a user of Peniche, as a person who lives in Peniche, even if it is for a very short time. It is why you start this enchantment for those people, for this place, why it is so important to you to tell the stories of all those people.
Yeah, I could also solve this issue, you know, with the always on the webpage you usually have the about page, like who is the person behind the project, and I could embed my story there. And also for the historians, the first I will have, you know, some on the webpage there will be stories of the people, but also first some quick and interesting history facts about Peniche. Maybe historian like Luís, he can be speaker, you know, I can just film him telling those facts and then show the short videos about it.
Sorry with this noise, but I will, the thing I just say, you are not invisible in this project. You know, when you see and take care of something, you are taking you are taking you are making a you are I'm sorry you are part of the group.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I just want to end it like saying that you have mixed the pleasure and the work when we ask it's work or pleasure, and I really thought that you said both. So you have the best of the both worlds, and I wish you the best. Well, you know, now in Lisbon, we are all from Lisbon, the 3 professors, and we started to see our city that it's like a small city, but in each corner we have it's like the province. It's a very special place. So there was some people who discovered it, and now we are losing it, and because everything became typical and touristic, you know, and it's not true. So it's like the true story is not reachable. So it's always our point of view, and you will always be somehow there. But okay, it's just a comment. Okay.
Okay.
We always change. It's only for the fact of observing, of looking at, we are changing. We are always changing. Okay, but it's a really nice project. Wish you the best.
Okay. Thank you.
Best of luck. Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So now we have, let me see my little piece of paper. We are now going to have the presentation that changed has the first prize of changing the title. It has changed a lot, and yesterday the title was FuturAntiqua.otf documentary História. Oh, sorry, I'm saying this in Portuguese and reading it in English. FuturAntiqua.otf, documenting the history of typography in a single typeface with responsive axis. It's from the student Leonard Adley, and the mentors are Professor Aprígio Morgado and Professor Ricardo Santos, which is already with us, Professor Ricardo Santos. I don't know if Professor Aprígio will be able to be with us. And also we are going to have the guest Fábio Duarte Martins that just phoned me and is going to be with us.
Already here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
So welcome, welcome.
Did it quietly, but I'm here.
Okay, okay, you're welcome. So now I'm going to say this in Portuguese for the other students. O aluno Leonard Adley, que vai fazer a nossa apresentação seguinte, tem como mentores ou como orientadores o professor Aprígio Morgado, o professor Ricardo Santos e tem connosco também o convidado Fábio Duarte Martins. A dissertação tem o título FuturAntiqua.otf, documentar a história da tipografia numa única tipografia com eixos responsive. Are you ready, Leonard?
I think as I'll ever be, yeah.
Okay, you are, it's the first time that I have to speak my international roots English with a student that speaks English from the UK. So I really feel very shy when I speak, because when we all speak English like the international English, we don't have a person that is always listening us. That is so wrong. That is so, well, I'm sorry, but we are all trying to communicate. Hope you forgive us for our, but at least my bad English. Okay.
I think the thing about language is it does constantly evolve, and a lot of it isn't actually about what's spoken, but more what you perceive. So
Yeah,
how you read people isn't always what you hear.
Okay, okay. So you have the word. And Fabio, welcome. Sorry, welcome.
Hi there. Looking forward for this.
Oh
no. No, don't worry. Don't worry. Come on. You'll be fine. Yeah. I hope so. Okay, well, we're not going to wait for a pre-show, I guess. No, okay. I'll start by saying that I'm not a typographer myself, but I have created a typeface before, and that was because I couldn't get a license for Accidents Grotesque, and so I decided to try and create it myself, which was a bit of a disaster, but I managed to accomplish something. And I've been interested ever since, and so I always decided if I was going to do it again, that I would do something more practical, let's say. And so here for the masters, I think I've come up with a bit of an idea, FuturAntiqua.otf. And so start by saying, what is it? Well, it's a typeface sort of for the future, and which should incorporate all of the past, if it's possible, using open type variables, since it's only a couple of years old, and I think it's got a lot of potential. And in this presentation, I'll be going in the reverse order, starting with the technicalities and then looking at what's in the past and how we'll do it for the future. So we'll start off with a little bit parametrics. We'll briefly just say about how parametric technology sort of originates in the 70s. So it's not a brand new concept to try and have a typeface which evolves a little bit. Even variable types are a part of parametric. It only diverges a bit rather when it comes to generative, which is possible with variables. So I'm definitely most interested in the variable type typeface versus parametric, and I think that there's good opportunity with what was released in OpenType in 2016, which combines Apple, Adobe, Microsoft, and Google. So there's going to be a lot of support in the future for it. So looking back a bit further at how it really originates with Donald Knuth, who was actually a mathematician. And they say that with his parameters, that you only actually had to have about a dozen inputs before you would have a completely new typeface, which extended to the whole Latin alphabet. But it turned out it was very difficult to use, and so it never really caught on. There were only a few typefaces made, such as Computer Modern, which is his own creation. So it sort of evolves to what Adobe releases with the multiple masters. And here's on the left is a bit of an example about how interpolations between four masters works, and how in that design space you can have any kind of change. And on the right is the Apple response to it during the font wars, which is the true type with the Quick Draw GX, and the variable type uses more this kind of technology. What's kind of important to notice is in the extremes, top left and bottom right, it's still within a design space, but it's not actually specified by a particular master. It's almost extrapolated versus interpolated. So why is it significant to be looking at variable open type font variations? It's responsive, it's got controls, there's CSS, you can adjust things within it depending on the axis. So on the right there, we've got Goretech font, which the little squiggly lines, they're responsive to sound. So this is actually a generated font where the input is noise, and then it will respond depending on the kind of sound and how much the volume is. And then, yeah, I think we've mentioned how it's supported and how big tech is interested in it. Why are they interested in it? Because the footprint is smaller for a font. You can save up to, I think it said it's about 88%, pardon me, of space when you start putting superfamilies down into one single font file. And what I'm really interested in actually is bringing back a bit of history, which is demonstrated on the bottom right there, optical sizing, which we've, I think, since lost once we've gone digital. It would be nice to have that back and be able to use it properly. I've lost the page. Yeah, I think we've covered how versatile the OpenType 1.8 is, especially when it comes to things like degenerative. It supports color and animation, things that we're not going to be all that interested in for this project. But what's important to know is that we're going to have axes which are controllable, and they're going to be super important to be able to define different errors in font. And it's important to note the structure is on the right there. There's a bit of an example which shows that the shapes all have to have a starting point, and between each different error that I will be looking into, all of those points must exist, even if they don't, even if they have the same coordinates, let's say. There've been some demonstrations about how far it goes. On the right, Decovar shows a bit how serifs can change depending on what user input is. And it shows a bit how powerful it is. But then on the left, Amstelvar, what I'm showing here is that to try and step away from how complex something like Metafont was, some of the axis can be removed from the hands of the user to make it a much more usable product. And it will depend on what you decide to ship to people at the end of it. So the Antiqua, what came in the history of type. We have a small brief discussion on looking to the work of Gerrit Noordzij, who relates all of printed type back to writing and the hand. We obviously won't be looking into calligraphy or actually hand-based, but his theories show how it's possible to recreate even modern fonts by the stroke of a pen or a brush, the direction at which it's used, and then the rotation to be able to make any kind of shape that we print in a way. And he also made the cube, which I'm a bit more interested in because he's got, he uses what he calls contrasts to be able to show how they morph between each other. But if we look at the bottommost E, that's basically Jill Sands, and the topmost is a fat face, and the top left is a transitional, and the bottom left is like a grotesque or a geometric. And we can see how they can live in the same space. Classification is something that's going to become quite important sort of later on in the process, because if you want to try and have a usable and saleable commodity, you have to be able to identify what you're trying to provide people. And the box model, which is largely adopted, through ATPI and British standards and what we know most, tends to be based on historical influences, and Catherine Dixon, she has more a descriptive way of describing fonts, of categorizing fonts. However, they're still, as far as I've seen, largely historical. So I think I'll be looking into the Panos system a bit more, where you'll get a full numerical value, and maybe between some very strange interpolations that I hope to achieve, that they would also be able to be measured and compared with the Panos system just via numerics, and to see how close or far apart things are. Won't go into this too much, but of course the characteristics of type will be important so that we can provide the right axes and the right way to define between the different classifications. But now we have somebody else's model, which isn't a way of classifying. It's Francisco Pizarro, and he's imagined what he's called the type vault, which is also basically loosely based on the North-Side cube. And he calls it a space where all fonts can be, where they can all live. And what we can see here is he's got a three-dimensional space which has a few axes or poles, we'll call them, between the serifs, contrast and structure. And on the right, we can see where he's got a slice around his space where a few different types can be compared through these poles. So why is that going to be important for the future? The boundaries of the investigation is first thing to put in place. Ideally, it would be nice to be able to put every single font possible within one font file, every single typeface inside one font file, but I do believe that's not going to be possible. We'll restrict it to Latin because it's the only language that I can read and understand a little bit of. I would like to constrain it to print technology, and we might have to admit some things. I'm not sure that black letter is going to be very easy to interpolate between because of the control points on the right-hand side there. There's a small example, of course, about how if you want to change from a serif to a slab serif, then even though you can't see the points, they must exist to be able to morph between the two. Now we have to define some axes which are definitely going to exist and going to be comparable before looking at the rest of the type construction. And yeah, everything must match. I envision a big problem between similar styles, and as I was mentioning before, if we're trying to include every single typeface, the serifs might be all difficult and the style might be difficult, but actually within the same style, I think is equally as a challenge. We try and make a skeleton between all of these and to fit between each other, then it is going to become as complicated as Metafont or worse. There will be just too many axes to try and deal with. So how to go about this problem is to compare skeletons to actually see how much we can adjust, say here, the leg. I mean, the X height is going to be rather easy, but then how do we change the starting ending point of the leg and actually how much, how straight they will be. But if this can't be solved, then we can try and there's three options. The first one is to make a median or an average. Here's demonstrated a Velia font by Dan Sayers, who used, I think it was a Java application to merge and make an average of his whole font index, which was about 750 examples to make the most average font. And he later on said that...
Leonard, don't forget the time, okay?
Yeah, I'm already overrunning. Yeah, okay, well, I'll just say that this isn't ideal because of the outlining procedures and stuff. Can make it with artificial intelligence and deep learning and GAN systems, but ultimately I think user-defined and creating it ourselves will be the most well, easy, the most pragmatic. Then it will become between how to interpolate between them all. Can do a chronological, and that would just make for a linear interpolation between them all, which doesn't really fit what would want with every single typeface. So we go back to the constellation to try and, as you can see on the right-hand side, he's got a line of hybridity where you should be able to sort of morph between them at any point. And it would be, the ultimate theory would be to have this within the variable font structure, which is there on the right, to then be able to expand and to make expand contrasts and make optical sizes, etc. To be able to, the market is then about going back to the Pano system to be able to sell something. If you want to take a slice out of what you have made between somewhere they want a specific weight and such, then you can sort of slice it up and be able to dish it, because if it doesn't work for the market, then it's also not usable. And yeah, so I would hope to have a font for the future with the past in variable typeface. And that's it, that's the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leonard. I'm going to start to giving the word. So Professor Ricardo Santos is already in. Yes. So I'd like to say hello to Professora Prígio Morgado and to Professor Ricardo Santos, that I think it's with us. Welcome. And I'm going to ask you, Leonard, to take out your presentation in order to see each other. Okay. Hi, Professor Ricardo.
Hello.
Hello. So the order is first the guests, right? Say to me if I'm wrong. First the guest, then the mentors, which are Professor Ricardo Santos and Professor Prígio Morgado. And so now welcome, Fabio, and you have the word.
Okay, then. So I wasn't expecting me to go first, but let's do this then. First of all, hello to everybody.
Fabio, sorry, just one thing. Hey, I'm in the middle of a class,
Okay.
and there is a lot of people that is right now want to ask me things. I'm afraid I have to leave meanwhile. So Leonard, we talk then. And Fabio, continue. Sorry, okay. Sorry. Just
all good. So first of all, hello to everybody, and let's go for Leonard then. So well, I do have some ideas about what's going on here. First of all, I do like your ambition, but I don't know if you're being overly ambitious. But I do see some ways to go around especially some of the latter moments in your presentation. So one, at least from what that description on how things could mutate, if they're chronological, or even if they would go in some other order, like doing this linear morph in between styles. could be a little pickle for you. So still, there's one really cool thing about OTVAR 1.8, that you can actually work component based. So you can have different chunks for serifs, you can have different chunks for different stems. So in controlling just, this works like, I'm sure you know this. This works as TrueType GX. So basically what the interpolation engine behind it wants to care about, it's the delta of a given point, right? So, and you can flip instances at any point, right? I think that could be one of your main workarounds to solve a bunch of problems there. Second, even if you think about doing an historical thing, it's kind of weird to think that, okay, so you come from this more Aldine setting to a more Bodoni-like setting to a sans serif thing. My only problem with this is that actually, I think that people will twist their nose if you say, oh, this is an historical progression, because that's actually now how it worked. So, I mean, probably the most meaningful formal moment in the history of type was the late 18th century, no, 19th century, and it's basically when everybody went bananas. Yeah, so the stylistic variety that you find there is, I think it's too big to assume that, oh, okay, so this is a summary of an historical period, right? As for another problem that I might, sorry?
I have to leave, sorry.
Can you, perhaps, I would like to hear you, like 2 or 3 words. So Fabio, I'm sorry, can you?
Go, switch.
Okay.
No, I think it's, no, continue. I think Ricardo then can talk with me. And we can talk. I think we can make a meet, and with Leonard too, it's not a problem. And if Fabio it's still available, it's better too. Okay, but in other occasions, sorry.
Okay.
Because today the things become complicated here. Okay, because I have Erasmus students here, and then I have to make 2 classes at the same time, one in Portuguese and then another one in English. So it's a little bit complicated, or else I don't have time to attend everyone. Okay.
Thanks for being here.
Sorry.
Okay, but anyway, I'm easy to reach. Ricardo and Aprizio can easily can easily get to me. So, not get to me, not in. Okay. Vocês com facilidade chegam a mim. Okay, so where was I?
Second point.
So components that you can actually use them. You just cares about the deltas. Oh, the historical part. And this is probably where I think that you're probably too ambitious, right? So I would think, I think that there's an emotional side to this, and I think there's a pragmatic side to this. On the emotional side, to be honest, I think that you're trying to mentalize this way too much, or trying to find a process where you're or you're relying in the process to have a bulletproof product in the end, right? So or that shields you from critique or whatever. And at the same time, I think that this will stall any sort of creative expression that you may have, and that's a plus too, right? So the only thing that I would be concerned about the process, beyond the technicalities of it, would be how can I find a process that allows me the most flexibility of development. And if so, then I can start adding up things quite easily, right? So you don't get overwhelmed in the process. So let's say you would do this kind of, first you want this mutation from a serif to a sans serif. And then you can say, okay, so how can I do variations on the serif part? How can I do variations on the stem part? And so having a system that would add up instead of trying to put yourself in this sorry on this position that you're almost trying to compromise with other people, that you're saying, oh, I'm trying to chunk the whole history of type in one typeface, right? So I would it's fine if you just want to discover the technology of it, right? And you want to tinker with it. I think that that's a good enough practice. And also, if you do have interest in these things of type and you want to proceed to them later on, I think that there are other aspects beyond technology that are actually that actually requires a little bit more sensibility and a little bit more abstraction than this too strict of an approach. When I say strict, I'm actually referring to that sort of Neoplatonism of, you know, adding shapes and trying to average them. This never works to be more precise. So I think that you could, if you explore this in almost in a component-based thing, to say, okay, so I have stems and I have crossbars and I have terminals and I have serifs and stuff like that, and I can do and I can play with these components and then mix them all up as I wish to. I think this is a more interesting approach than trying to cram millions of typefaces inside one, right?
Right.
And you could still explore this whole variation thing. You can still explore this multiple axis thing, even the same kind of construction that can enable you to have a lot of variation in between it. So my concerns here are mostly on how much energy do you have to expend, you know, and if you're going to shoot yourself in the feet or not.
Yeah.
So, but basically, I'm trying to save you from suffering. So, these would be the things that I would concern. So, can you reduce the scope, but in such a way that you can then scale it up if you have the time and willingness to do so? And the second one is probably should approach this component based. Those would be my two major concerns. And apart from that, it's well done. Even the tech part is solid.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh, and anything I think already. No, I didn't, because Paula didn't get the email. And anything, just contact me. Just get to me. I'm easy to reach.
All right. Yeah, I will. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
I think it's Ricardo.
Also.
Okay.
Oh.
Ricardo Santos, please, can you? And I don't know if you listen. I was thank you, saying how pleased I was for Fabio to be with us. Thank you very much for your presence, for your comments and advices to Leonard. And Professor Ricardo Santos, we still would love to hear from you.
Well, hello everyone. Hello team. Well, some of my words follow some ideas that Fabio already mentioned, and for me, some of this technology it's quite new, and let's see how you gonna development all the different axes, the different font masters. Like Fabio said, this is a huge project, and how we can separate and how we can divide the most main topics and things that are important to develop the project in the right way. Today, well, the things to combine the different styles, it's quite be complex. In today, I think, well, few graphic applications needs this kind of technology. Maybe in future we can provide something, well, like this, because today, I think in general, most of the users, they, the graphic design users, they don't know what is open type format. Even the variable fonts, it's something very fresh. So I think we are preparing something for the future, not for now, but maybe for the next years. Not only about the technology itself, but about the concept that we can use. Well, but I think in general, like for instance, I am imagine the newspapers, something that will need a big and range of font styles, like a newspaper, that we can change the serif or not for the sans serif. We can deal with the optical sizes, and also we can change the contrast of the fonts. Well, I'm talking about this, of course, to the print environments, but especially for the digital devices like mobiles, screens, and for websites in the early days, we need many fonts to build a website with different aids, different widths. But with only one style, with only one file, we can optimize and make everything more economical. Maybe for the users that will spend less money and will have much more options for the range of the font styles. And well, that's it. I think we need talk better with you and Professor Aprizio, and maybe Fabio gives some help to deal and to make a map, like a constellation, where we're gonna see the main versions and try to preview some of the design issues that we're gonna have in this project. Not only about technology, but maybe about the conceptual environments. And I think for now, that's it. The presentation was complete. I think we understand most of the topics that you would like to work. And well, we're gonna see this in the next weeks or months to talk and to make a plan of this project. I personally, I have only one experience with variable fonts. I'm a fresher, but I am in my, well, I am thinking in some design axes that we can improve in the project. Maybe we can share, I can share with you my list of topics. And this is, I'm preparing this for me and maybe for sharing in the ESAD with my students different possibilities to approach the variable in the typeface. So today we have most of the concepts, they are old, like transition by the different aids, different widths, skew angles, well, and we can improve things maybe with a different detail. I don't see, today we are seeing many things about visual. I think it's very good. Open a door for a different boundaries, but we can imagine also different particularities that we can maybe apply in the typeface. For instance, until now, I didn't saw many typefaces that make changes in the overshot font sizes. So there are many small details that we can think and we can imagine that will provide different solutions for maybe different styles. This thing that I'm talking about, the overshots, can be connected with the optical sizes, because when we change the optical sizes, the overshot variation should be more dynamic, that should follow the range and the scale of the letter form. So well, we're gonna talk in future better about this, and we're gonna define a plan with this all different topics that we talk. You talk, Fabio talk, and I'm talking now in this moment. And that's it. I think my talk it's done. And thank you for your presentation, Tim, and thank you, Paula, for inviting me, and thank you to all.
Okay. Thank you for being here. It was a very nice presentation, Leonard. I don't know if Professor Luísa wants to say something to Leonard before we go.
Yeah, something. I'm always very quick. So, Leonard, hi, Leonard. Nice to see you here. Just one question. Do you already start to draw your own typefaces, or is just a conceptual work in progress you are doing now? Because now I'm less technical than your old professor, and thank you, Fabio, to be here. Sorry, I'm less technical. I just like to see. Yeah, okay, come on. I like to see the object. I like to see your first sketches for your new typefaces. Now,
no sketches for this one yet, no.
Just okay, I'm curious.
Because even the beginning could have changed if I was deciding to go a bit more, parametric based and mathematical, and then need to create outlines would have been a bit different. But I think ultimately it will be about.
Because I think you're going to be more enthusiastic when you start to be less rational, as Fabio say, and then you go, oh, probably you will change a little bit your, what are you thinking about when, for your typeface, when you start to draw it.
Start throwing the rules out.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Tim.
Okay. So thank you very much for Ricardo and Fabio for presence here. We are now a little bit late with our next presentation, and well, Marco is already ready.
Yeah.
So Fabio and Ricardo, so you'll be in touch with Leonard.
Oh, sure. Let me know.
Okay. So
yes.
Thank you. So we are going to move on with Marco. So Marco is going to present us his dissertation or his intentions, and it's called Surf Collective Website Peniche, design and execution of local Peniche surf collective webpage combined with Peniche surf heritage.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so his name is Marco Javrik. I hope I said it more or less well. And he has two mentors, Professora Luísa Barreto and Professora Dona Afonso. So, and we also had a guest that we believe that he's in Russia, and in Russia it's not 12 o'clock. So if he comes, it's good. If not, it will be perfect. So let's move on. And I'm sorry for being a little bit late with the schedule. So the word.
Okay. So hello, everyone. I hope one question, do you hear me and do you see my presentation? Is everything okay?
Perfect.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I will try to explain my master thesis as fast as possible, just because I don't want to more delay our schedule. So let's start. Paula already explained my name and my subtitle and mentor. So let's start with the introduction, with my field of research. I will start the process with reading and gathering information and facts about surfing, surf tourism, and communities, but with major focus like in Peniche area, since I live in Peniche, and I will put my focus only in Peniche. Then I will also investigate and research about surf culture, lifestyle, and how graphic design is actually connected to it. You know, we have some big icons in graphic design, such as like David Carlson or like Tyler Steele, or even in surf culture in general. For example, Pedro Lima from Portugal, the OG of Portugal surfing. And third part will be my investigation in user experience and interaction. Those knowledges will help me in my final act when I will try to design webpage for a local surf collective. Okay, let's go on. So what are my motivations? So first motivation, I always felt deep connection with the water. And when I started to surf, I think it was like 3 to 4 years ago, I realized that the feelings are awesome. So I could say that I could say that my surfing is actually my passion, but don't worry, I'm not super good, so it's okay. And second motivation is actually a bit funny, but as a graphic designer and web designer, I never truly understood the importance of user experience in every aspect of my work. I could say maybe that I didn't care about, or maybe also I was a bit afraid of UX, you know. So, but with master thesis, I want to understand and actually learn how to use it, and then applying to my final work. So I want to take my master thesis and represent for example, I want to take my master thesis as a journey, for example, from not knowing UX to understanding and then applying to it in the end. And of course, I'm not as confident as with my skills as I wanted to be. So therefore, I will need to work on the areas such as like Figma, After Effects, UX and UI, etc. A lot of programs that I want to learn. And I want to let my fears of not being good enough in design and just explore and enjoy and take this master thesis just for a learning process. So it's not about destination, but the journey. Okay, so my goals. Okay, so first goal is to be more confident with UX and UI after I will finish this project. And since my practical work will be a website for surf collective surf school in Peniche, another goal is actually to achieve a balanced combination between historical and commercial aspect of the website. And when speaking with surf locals, they pointed me the fact, and I know, and I also understand the fact myself, that right now there are too many surf school in Peniche area. So the surf spots are getting overcrowded. So I will try to design it, and I will try to take different approach when designing a website. So I will try to create non-conventional and community empowering website. And fourth goal is communication, to be better at communication. For example, this is my communication with the surf school boss, George. I'm speaking with him like in long sentences, but he just like thumbs up. But yeah, I will try to improve that. I mean, I need to speak with George. He doesn't like to speak, but actually he's a super nice like man. So I really love him. So yeah, okay. Reference projects. I found it super interesting. So to be able to offer experience. So I will try to include also in my website experience of a Peniche, not just like surfing, but experience like scuba diving or Berlenga Island or like etc. I don't know yet, but we'll see. And those websites like Airbnb Experience and Amazon Explore, they offer like similar thing. Then there's like rapture camps and ocean routes. I really like their design. And of course, Niki Lauda, this is OB's agency, and they are really good at UI and UX and how they present like the history, because this web page is basically dedicated to Niki Lauda, you know, so like the famous Formula 1 driver, and it's amazing. So I would like to achieve some particle of that. Okay. Oh, okay. I skip. Okay. So let's start with the process. So I will try and explore about surfing, but with focus on, of course, the main focus will be, of course, Peniche. Then I will research also about surf tourism, and I try to find similarities between different places like Ericeira or like Byron Bay, and I will try to also explore how mass tourism affect local community. Mm-hmm. Visiting museums related to surfing and culture. I've already been to Nazaré and Ericeira, but I will try to find like something else. And then I will try to researching surf lifestyle and visual culture, and of course, web design and user experience exploring. This is just theoretical part, okay? Okay, so practical part. The practical part, I kind of like set it up in like two ways. So first is research for practical part, and then execution for practical part. Okay. I hope that you will understand. So the research for practical part, basically, I'm trying to do a list of surf schools from Peniche. I can get like a bigger picture of what I will do, that I can get like a bigger picture of my competitions or like, yeah, no, it's hard to explain, but yeah. Then I will try to collect idea for like experience for my website. Then I'll also need to gather all my data, for example, photography, videography, all the text for the website. And then also I will need to learn more about Figma, Adobe, XD, After Effects, Cinema 4D, like a lot. Okay, so and executional part is actually first I will try to understand the research inside. Then I will create information structure. Then I will try to design user flows. So for example, user flows, I will pick like two completely different personalities, like one super good surfer and one like average like tourist, and then I will try to combine those areas, those paths, you know. So I will do something about that. And then I will design interface in Figma or Adobe XD. Till this day, I'm not sure which program I will use, so I don't know yet. And for the last part, I will try to do UI animation in After Effects in Cinema 4D. So this is like the super nice, you know, like animations, you know, you can see it on Dribble and Behance. So I really want to achieve that. Okay, so methodologies. First, I will do a research. I will read like relevant books and I visit some museums. I will observe and talk with local people. Then I will go with interviews. I will speak with surf schools, surf locals, and also like to people that are the people that already experienced like the surf school hospitality. So I will try to do like, what do you think about this? So you know, I will try to find like those answers that help me build my website. Okay, and then I will also do analysis of resonance projects. And for the last part, I will do a survey. I will conduct survey about usability and visual aspect of the final web page. Okay, so this is my timeline. Basically, here is, I think, at the end of the March, I will try to accomplish everything. I mean, I don't know if I would able to do that, but it would be super nice to manage to put together everything. I already done some part here, so I think it's possible, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, and so results. So right now we are entering the results area. So extended knowledge of surf industry that I will gain from the theoretical part will serve as like a platform or as or we can say as a base for the website. So like I said, the website will include heritage and modern commercial aspects. So I will try to fuse those areas. The web page itself will, of course, the main goal will be to serve and promote specific surf collective. But in the other hand, they will also present artifacts and communities from Peniche. And furthermore, this project will not end up with the dissertation of the master thesis, but will be actually used as a proper website for this surf school. So yeah, it's quite awesome. And I will also transfer and apply the knowledge that I will get during this thesis project to my storytelling personal project called Peniche Legend. This doesn't have like anything to do with master thesis, but there are some similarities. It's more closer to Kaya's project, and I will try to accomplish after I'll do master thesis. So yes. And those are some references. I mean, there are like a bunch of them, but those are just like some of them, like internet references, books, and museums, you know. And yeah, so thank you for your time. I hope that my English was quite okay today, and I'm looking forward to your answers and critiques, and I don't know, like, yeah, I hope that you enjoyed. So yeah, thank you. This is everything. This was everything for my side. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Marco. Now you have your mentor ready to speak to you. Please, Professora Luísa Barreto.
Well. The major mentor, it's Dania Afonso, who is more into this kind of studies of user experience than I am. I have to admit, I'm just a girl who works with paper. Okay, I was looking here at the thing of all this from Niki Lauda, that when you make your presentation. Okay, tell me one thing, Marco, because I think you are more. Dania will be. It is doing your process of your investigation more closer than I am. The thing is, okay, you say maybe your work it's a little bit closer to Kaya about the storytelling, about this. Way to create, to approach or to observe the Peniche where you are living and so on, and the relation. But I think you are also doing the commercial part that you're talking about at the beginning, to improve or to show more the school of surfing or other things that happen at Peniche to show to the others. My bigger thing is, okay, what will be the major contents you're going to put in your website or where your pages? It's just about Peniche, or just about, or more about things that are related to the surf, or to all this experience you can create about, because, okay, there is plenty of sites or webcams on several places to see the sea, if you're going to the sea or not, if it is a good time or not, to surf. But can you maybe think about the users would be more than just Peniche? No, I love Peniche, nothing against, but probably useful if you're going to speak to the people who do surf or do paddle or whatever. Maybe you have to be more than Peniche.
Okay. Yeah,
that's the part I didn't understand very well. If it is just about the storytelling about Peniche, or it is more about of the activity of surfing.
I will try to explain you right now. So basically, I think that because since this is like a client designer relation, so basically, like the most important thing is to represent like sadly, but a commercial aspect of like a surf. So for example,
there's nothing wrong about that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not so interesting, and there's like not about, you know, it's
you can make it interesting.
Yeah, but it's like a reality. So yeah, so basically the most important thing is actually just like a promotion of surf experience in this school. So for example, surf lessons, surf accommodations, and they have also like co-working areas right now, because I think co-working, it's like new thing today. I mean, everybody just like working in co-working spaces right now. So so those areas actually would be like my main goal, just because this is actually like a surf for actually like a real surf school. But then the second focus group will be experiences. So this basically means that I could actually, for example, I know one guy who is super good at surfing, but he's also doing like a scuba diving, you know, like submarines.
Scuba diving, yes.
Yeah, like he's hunting not jellyfish. So how do you know how I don't know, like he's hunting like animals, you know. I don't know, it's jellyfish or like I don't know. No, it's not jellyfish. It's like octopus. Sorry, octopus.
Okay.
I'm so bad. Oh.
Very clever animals.
Yeah, exactly. So we were thinking with George how to connect like those, like for example, because we need to understand also like the clientele in this school. So for example, I can show you, but I mean, you can like, for example, this school is basically super close to the Peniche, but the majority of surf schools are actually in Balear area. So this is like 5 kilometers away. So my theory is, so if I would, and of course, this is like, I just did the research, and I figured it out that the clientele or like a public for this surf school aren't like super young kids, you know, or like teenagers who wants fun, because if they want to have fun and party and surf in the morning, they will go to Balear, you know. So there is like there is no need to like addressing those areas. So what I was having in mind is that to try to collect or like try to create experiences. For example, there's like one family, and kids wanted to go surf, but then in the afternoon they can all go to Bralenga Islands, or like they have like some barbecue. So it's like you know, pleasing everybody. You know, it's like this.
Never please everybody, but
yeah, I mean it's so those experiences would be like more like they want to be like super like interesting, you know, like explore. It would be more like for like one family to really see the purpose, or they could be like, oh yeah, we can stay with this school, yeah, they can offer us those and those things. So it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, with your site, give the feeling, or it is a new, it's a kind of life. It is possible as the surf, the sea, this far away from the city. It is a new kind of life you could really want to present to your clients or your people who go there and see your website and the website of the school, of course.
So I didn't.
If it is the message you're going to present to your clients or the clients of the school, it is a sort of a new kind of life. Okay, it is far from the cities. It's possible to survive far from the cities and far from the industry, or far from all that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good point, and I think I try to present to the world like the calmness of Peniche, you know. So it's
okay.
You know, like you said, like people are like, we are like all the time like doing something, you know, like we don't have time, we need to work and then work again and then wake up, you know.
Yeah.
But here in Peniche,
you always forgetting the things that really matters for us and that really make us happy.
Yeah. So yeah, I will try to put a bit of like focus on like just present like a casual, like a bit sleepy lifestyle with combination with surfing. So
because it is possible, and then you can survive also. It is nothing, it's not a dream. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Marco. It's a pity that Daniela is not here, because she will help you much more than I can do with the user experience and
of course. She's super good, and she already like give me some good information, so I'm looking forward.
Yeah, she's good, she's very good.
Okay.
Of course.
Thank you, Luísa.
Okay. So Marco, thank you very much. As Kaya, you are also like with a lot of passion and enthusiasm in your work, and it's like jumping from one lily, I don't know how the name is, water lily to water lily, like seeing what's going to happen. You are really passionate, gazing into each other's eyes is something very, very, very pretty to see. And it's like, you know, what Professora Luísa Barreto was saying, it's like you are things that can be seen as weakness, you are showing them as strong things about. It's like the good thing about it is that we only have this hotel here, so come. It's like it's the only thing you have. It's a bed, and you have the water, and you have yourself. So this is very special nowadays, and I think that perhaps that can be the difference, the really big difference of that parting public that you were talking about. Yes. So I wish you also the best for your project and your.
Thank you.
Okay. Very nice presentation too.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
So, now who's next? Let me see in my paper. Oh, he's ready. Justin, how many degrees are there in Canada?
Oh, how many degrees?
I always want to know, because you sometimes say, oh, today it's -12, not very bad. We have some storms.
Well, if I do good on this presentation, then hopefully I'll have one more degree.
Okay. So let me present you. You are going to present us a dissertation, or the intentions of a dissertation that has the title Case Study Meta versus XRCG, Designing for Interactive Print, a study of user interaction and game design in a mixed reality environment. So your name is Justin da Silva Schneer. you have a Portuguese part on your family. I think it's your mother, right?
Can't hide it.
Yes, from where?
My mother from Arives, São Miguel.
Okay. Okay. So your mentors are Professor Eduardo Abrantes and Professor Roberto Ribeiro.
Yes.
They can be present today. They didn't come in. Do you know if they are?
I'm actually speaking to them now. I don't know if maybe the times might have got crossed.
But do they have the link of the meeting?
They do. I gave them the link and I let them know it's happening right now, so they may join. Eduarda said she will be teaching a class, so if she has any questions, she'll send them to me directly, and then I can address them for her. But I told them it's right now. I'm super sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
For the mix-up. Yeah, because yeah, you guys use 24-hour clocks, so I have to take away 2 from that to figure out the real time there, and then I have to take away 5 from that. I'm a designer, not a mathematician.
So what time is there? It's 7 o'clock?
Yeah, 7:30.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Really early.
Can everybody see my my presentation?
Yes, it's perfect.
Perfect.
So, but do you think they are going to be able to be in the next minutes?
I'm not sure. I told them to join. Yeah, we can go right ahead if you like.
No, but I think it will be better for you, for us, for everybody to be with them. But the question is if they are just 2 minutes away or 20.
They are not responding.
Okay.
Eduarda is online right now, so she can probably see what I'm saying, so she may join.
But she's online where?
Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's definitely at her computer.
Okay. So what shall we do? Is she teaching in ESAD?
No, she teaches at the, I forget the name, but it's the, actually I think she is at ESAD. She teaches at ESAD and computer sciences.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
She's from UPL. She's from the other schools from UPL.
Okay. Okay.
It was a ex-student from ESAD, and then she went to Leiria.
Okay. So Luísa, what shall we do? What do you think? Shall we start?
Yes,
Yes?
I think Justin could start if he had enough coffee to.
Okay. Okay. So let's start, Justin.
Cool. Okay. Good morning, everybody, guests, professors, colleagues. My name is Justin, and today I will be sharing some of my thesis, as well as presenting my intentions for the development of this project over the coming months. So the working title of my thesis is Metaverses, Designing for Interactive Print, a study of user interaction and game design in mixed reality environments. Of course, you guys know my mentors. Maybe you'll know them today, but we'll see. Okay. So my project is a case study in game design using interactive print. These are the primary areas in which my effort will be focused. So interactive print, which can include AR, illustration, 3D, and game design, which is focused on engagement and gameplay, of course. So my thesis will consist of 3 major components: theoretical research, case study, and practical delivery. The case study portion of the thesis will serve to document the implementation of basically everything I learned in the theoretical research into the development of the practical delivery. So everything I do for the revision of it will support the case study and the practical. So my goals, my intention is to develop a 2-player interactive card game with an accompanying web-based AR app. Since game design requires a multidisciplinary approach, I intend to use graphic design as a baseline for understanding the roles of creative director, game designer, and graphic artist throughout my work. I will develop this project with the intention to deliver it as a retail product completed with branding. Since I am not especially adept at coding, I am actively seeking collaborators in the school's computer science program to assist with programming the AR software. I have planned my project's development to allow time to refine and collaborate on the software as the game undergoes user testing. I'm also seeking collaborators for 3D modeling as well. If I'm not able to secure assistance with these areas, I've prepared a contingency plan which alters the scope of my thesis to provide a different deliverable for the practical. However, mostly everything else would stay the same. That being said, I should mention that I am also sort of taking some side initiatives to help give myself a better context for this project. So I started learning how to use Unity to program games. And I started working with some basic 3D modeling programs to sort of just understand, so that when I collaborate, or if I collaborate with other students, I'm able to communicate that vision a little bit more clear. So why interactive print? Interactive print offers an opportunity for designers to enrich the physical world by providing feedback and context in new, meaningful ways. As the world of design changes, the first to embrace these new platforms play formative roles in shaping industry standards and customer expectations. Mixed reality is transforming how we interact with art, retail, and each other, among other areas. I think the intersection of different creative disciplines has great potential to showcase evolutionary expressions in things such as mixed reality. In other words, I think mixed reality presents opportunities to express ourselves creatively that were not previously possible. Why game design? So game design employs many different disciplines in order to achieve a cumulative experience that can also be branded and sold. This is very interesting to me. Games can foster cooperation and community. They value engagement and replayability, which present a unique challenge in developing rewarding experiences for any platform. You have to be conscious of all of these aspects when developing a game. So it's kind of that challenge that attracted me to sort of take this on. So some keywords and disciplines. The first keywords that came to mind for me were accessibility, interface, connection, tabletop, mixed reality, and 3D. So out of those keywords, I just want to focus a little bit on accessibility as the emphasis for my thesis. I think that especially when you are involving different things like print media, digital UI on the screen, mixed reality UI, and different interactions in that way, accessibility is paramount. Users need to be able to access and utilize every part of your game easily, and it needs to be visible, readable, and accessible. Second part of that is disciplines. So these are some of the things that I will be encountering as part of the construction of my thesis, which of course include game design, print layout, illustration, mixed reality design, and user experience. Okay, so I'm going to explain a bit more of an overview of the technical aspect of my game, just the basic gameplay. This right here is sort of the playing area, the playing field. So players start the game with 0 action points, 4 face-down defense cards, and 5 cards in their hand. You take turns in which you can summon creatures, move creatures, and declare battle with your opponent's cards on a 5x14 grid until a player is declared the winner. When a player's creature successfully travels to the opposite side of the field, it can attack your opponent's defense directly. After 5 successful direct attacks, that's 4 defense cards plus 1 final attack, you win the game. So it's pretty simple. very comparable to, actually it's even simpler than Dungeons and Dragons. So it's very, very, very simple. Okay. And so the research. For my thesis, I will conduct research using multiple methods in order to encompass the depth of the disciplines I'm exploring. The synthesis of approaches necessary are in themselves a transdisciplinary research structure. To provide support and substantiate a context for my role as a game designer, I will define a state of the art for contemporary card games, including a historic overview. So what are the current card games? What's sort of a brief history of how they got there, and what contributes to what we know in current day. Establish a working definition of relevant mixed reality experiences. So what games and software are being used and what spaces they're being used in right now. I would also like to explore and incorporate academic perspectives on information display and user interaction in augmented reality. So basically all of the academic references and papers that go into depth on the psychology and the design practices of interacting in three-dimensional space. And I'm also going to conduct interviews with game developers and mixed reality designers to gain insight into the current state of mixed reality. So it will basically be broken down, my research, into these three areas: state of the art, academic publications, and investigative interviews. The state of the art, of course, will be based on researching existing games and past games. Academic publications will be focused on looking for academic public context for it, basically some authoritative research. And investigative interviews will actually be something that I'm doing on my own. I started a YouTube channel focused on exploring mixed reality hardware and software, sort of a content creation initiative, but I'm using it to network with people in the industry, including game developers, designers, and of course, to seek people for user testing. Okay, and so this is the academic portion, or mostly the academic portion of the research. This is just sort of like a sample of what I'm going to be including in my research. So number one, of course, is Level Up, the Guide to Great Game Design. It's a book all about game design, of course. Divine Maloney, which is an XR artist and somebody who graduated from computer sciences. He's done quite a bit of work in the field, especially with interactive entertainment. And then some of the academic pieces that I have that I am working with include a card-based interaction to design visualizations, informative art, amplified artworks as information displays, as well as 3D object manipulation techniques in handheld mobile AR interfaces. So this is sort of just a sample. I have a bunch more and they kind of shift as the relevance to my project changes. So of course I will include the relevant ones in the final. So I just want to speak a little bit to my process. To develop metaverses, I am being guided by my mentors through the standard process of game development. As part of this process thus far, I have started by creating user personas, as well as a single-page game design document. I am currently in the process of preparing the game for the first round of user testing this December. That process of user testing will then contribute to the second iteration of the game design document, and so on. So to supplement the development of my thesis, I keep an ongoing Trello board with my mentors to gather resources and inspirations for the technical disciplines I will encounter as part of this project. So anything from software solutions, code libraries, marketing examples, visual implementation, I keep a huge list of those. And concurrent to this technical development of the game, I'm also collecting visual inspiration and illustrating artwork for each card, which will then be later modeled in 3D. Here you can see some of the artwork I've developed for the game. It's not too much right now, but it's just me, so it's going to be a long journey. Okay, so the results. Through my project, I hope to create a fun and accessible game. I intend to show a demonstration of Metaverse's gameplay that uses AR software to enhance the experience of playing cards. Specifically, I will deliver 2 40 card decks complete with retail packaging, instructions, playmats, AR software, in addition to the theoretical research and written case study. In lieu of functional AR software, I will instead create a conceptual video to showcase gameplay, sort of a proof of concept. So right over here, you can sort of see my vision for this game is, of course, a card game you can play without any of the technology, any of the mixed reality. But if you have any one of these devices, you know, a pair of AR, VR headset, or you have a smartphone, a tablet, whatever it is, you'll be able to engage with that content on a deeper level and get a richer experience for it. So that is what I'm intending to deliver. So I believe in the potential of mixed reality to shift the ways we interact with traditional mediums through rich information and meaningful feedback. It is my intention to develop an entertaining experience that exists at the intersection of art and technology. Thank you for your time and attention. And if I do have a little bit more time, I'd just like to show a few clips to demonstrate the progress of my concept in mixed reality. And then we can open up the floor. If that's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Share. Okay. So I have lots of windows open for this app, so we'll see what happens here. Okay. Okay. So I'll just show you a few right away. So this is where I actually started with my thesis last October. Well, not last October. Yeah, October of last year. And this is in the classroom, so I'm sorry if anybody's face is in it. It's just something sort of I tested out with 2D models. Okay, and then I have sort of the next step in that over here. And this is in my my old bedroom over at the residence in Caldas. So as you can see, I'm sort of experimenting, adding a bit of an interface there for people to interact with. It's very, very, very early. This was probably still a previous year. And I have, let's see. Yeah, I have an example here, more recent example of some animation with obviously updated card designs as I go. So this one is actually the character sort of evolving. You tap it and then boom. Okay, and of course, one of the intentions of this is to have it scalable. So you could play tabletop, or you could have a whole arena, basically, huge, like a soccer field or football field full. And the last one I'll show you right here, this one's a little more recent. And this is just a mock-up that can be placed on any real environment, just to show everything in motion. Okay, so yeah, that's just a snapshot, a bit of what I've been working on. Thank you for your time, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Justin. It's really very inspiring what you're doing. And if my son was here, he will be crazy about it.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Glad to hear.
But well, since your mentors were not able to come, no, they didn't ask to get in. So, Professora Luísa Barreto, can you please?
Of course.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Justin. It's always good to see you. Well, first of all, I don't know nothing about games. You know that I'm not a player. I don't play computer or card games. But what I would just so the strategy or the way that you play or you're going to develop the game, I have nothing to say because it's something I don't do. But the thing I was looking at, it was your characters you start to develop. And when I saw just the first drawings, okay, I know it's just a sketch. It's nothing definitive, but the sketches you are developed. The thing I was more afraid it was, they don't look like if they belongs to the same family. They are just a lot of different drawing registration, and that scares me, because I think you have to. When I see one of the characters, like the Pokemon's characters, they are all totally different from them. But okay, it's a Pokemon guy or whatever, and I think you have to take care of the okay, technical. It will be very difficult. I think it's not probably easy to develop your game in the sense of the technologies, but you have also to create a family of characters we can refer to your game. They are from that game. There is nothing else. Sometimes I am scared because they look like something already existed. So please create personas or use a kind of drawing where it's your drawing and it is everybody can identify as your game, from your game. And also, I don't know, probably this is maybe wrong, I don't know, because I'm not a player, but the colors, except from the little sort of bear, the blue one with the claws, the other ones are a little bit not bright or not very
saturated,
not very appealing. Yeah, they are the tones are very down, and I think you have to be a little bit more appealing for at least one detail for the character. You have to be more bright to catch our attention, to catch our eyes' attention. Just there is. And of course, it's much better. Do you have the 3D characters? It's more difficult than or just the 2D representation.
Yeah, because it's I'm not personally doing the textures. Oh, can I borrow one? Can I borrow a small one?
Download it.
Yeah, no, it's I totally understand what you're saying. That's actually one of the big lessons that when people interview the people who made Pokemon, they always say when they design a Pokemon, they have to make sure that you can recognize it from the silhouette if you have no other details. So I appreciate that for sure. I'm working with a 3D modeler right now, so it's kind of interesting because I'll design the character and I'll make like sort of a character sheet and I'll draw them from different angles and whatever for every single one. And then I'll give it to him with the colors that I use for the card. But of course, the colors that use for print, they have to be a little bit brighter, of course, because printing is slightly darker. But then when he uses those colors for the 3D model, that also is a different thought process because you have to think about lighting in a 3D space, and also if it's an augmented reality, there's a lighting that has to fit with the real world. But then if you play it just digital on the screen, that's going to be a fixed lighting in which you want to have those, and that's part of the branding aspect for sure.
Yeah. Okay. It is now for me. It's just the looks. I can comment. I can say something about it because the game is so bad. I don't know. I really don't play. So sorry. Please. I tried Pokemon. Sorry. I tried.
Good.
Just to see why it was so successful. Yeah. To understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but let me just tell you that you are, well, last year Professor Dani Afonso went to the Seminarios. She was presenting some projects of her own, and you are really going to be very well. If you have those two mentors, but if Dania can look at what you're doing, I think that she also can help you, because she will be delighted to tell you some tricks, some tips. Okay, but I was listening to Professor Luísa Barreto, and do you know Gumball, Luísa Barreto? And do you, Justin, do you know the adventures of Gumball? So, well, that's their identity, the drawings, the characters. They are not similar. Any character is similar to another. One are 3D, other are bidimensional. Sometimes we have pictures, sometimes we have drawings, and that's weird at the beginning, but the stories are so amazing that we just can't believe that that's really happening, that someone imagined those stories and someone put them on screen. So I am a huge fan of Gumball and Darwin, and they are not, that identity issue is about their differences. They are so different from each other that that's their identity. Some are 3D characters, some are like completely bidimensional, some are transparent, some are with photography, some are like the banana is a banana, and the cloud is, and there's a phantom, and they are all very different from each other. And of course, the copywriting that you are going to have in that story, the storytelling, the contents, the verbal identity, and it's like you have the concept identity there, the verbal identity, you have the sound identity, you have the motion identity, you have a lot of aspects besides the visual, and all is going to make that identity. Everything together is going to make the identity. Okay, you are working with interactivity, and I think that it's not only the drawings, but you have to think about the sounds and the way they move. It's like it's completely different if they are in motion. What kind of motion are you going to give them? What kind of I don't know, action, how is going to be, how is going to be their voices? You have a lot to think about. And well, I don't know, I am really a huge fan of, I think it's the most amazing thing that was made in comics ever. And they are not, every single characters are completely different. So I love that. In the beginning, it was like, who did this? Who was the guy who?
Whose mind?
Genius. Everything. What the stories and everything. It's really great. I can't resist to see what it's. Even if I saw it 10 times, I can't resist to see it again and again and again. So the thing that in a game or something that is supposed to attach people has a lot of different aspects. So when we are talking about transdisciplinarity here, and ever since the beginning of our lessons, it's really because you have a lot of things to look at to attach people to that game or to that interactive moment. I don't know, but well, of course, I also, as Professor Luísa Barreto, I don't understand a thing about that, only as a user or as a lover of comics and games. I'm not a user, but I am a companion of a user, everyday user. Okay, but you also look very, very excited with your projects, and
Yep.
well, I also
actually, sorry if you don't mind.
Yes.
I want to sort of speak to that for a sec. I know
You're
you
going
guys.
to show me the gumball.
No, I don't have it here. Actually, I don't have a physical one anymore. But yeah, this sort of stuff, like I've been since I was like a little kid.
Okay.
Since I was in school, I've been making like I make the same card game over and over and over and over. So in my head, it's there. But I did, if I have time, I just wanted to speak to what you were mentioning about sort of that identity and that kind of mixed up universe. So I didn't get into it during the presentation, but the title of it, Metaverses, it's sort of a play on words. Like the concept is that it's the metaverse. So basically everybody's ideas, everybody's imaginary friends, everybody's sort of view of the world, the things, the monsters in your dreams, all of that sort of comes together in a way that people can sort of call those thoughts, call those ideas to the field. And then that's where the verses comes in. So it's the metaverse, the universe, but it's also the battle between the two people. That's kind of like the broad idea of it. Again, that's not an excuse for inconsistent design language. I will make sure that I get some staples in that, just, you know, yes. So it looks good. But, yeah.
Okay. It also depends from whom you are talking with. Who are your the people you really want to play your game? If there is open-minded for something completely out of the blue, so be it.
Yeah, you also have another comics. It's the Adventure Time. That's really incredible too. The Adventure Time, but that is it's made by a designer, a graphic designer, and everything is perfect there. It's so perfect that it's also very weird because there's nothing there that can be changed. It's also, but as a matter of fact, it's like it will be more easy to understand. I mean, visually, that I would love to bet to the Adventure Time, but what I really like is Gumball. That nothing has nothing to do with nothing, and it's really genius. It's genius. I love it. So you have to. I think it's a challenge that you have to decide. But I think what is important is you to decide which way you want to follow. If you have to, what is identity there? Is they all look alike, like the Pokemon that even when they are just in silhouette, we understand that they are the same family? Or is something else? It's something about that happens in our dreams or in our, I don't know. But it's incredible. It's a new world. Yes. It looks like it's a dream come true. Like now you have the possibility of working on something that you always were looking on the other side. So it's very nice that you are jumping in to
there's huge football stadiums in every city in Portugal. I would love to go to one of those and just film some like giant monsters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that just sounds like a great day to me.
Yeah, you can create your own universe.
Yeah.
My own sport.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
So thank you.
So thank you very much. Thank you all. I hope that you are now going to be able to sleep a little bit, and we are going to eat a meal, and we'll be back in more or less 1.5 hour. Okay.
Okay.
So okay. Thank you very much. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.